Over the course of a year in the Central Maine area, around 300 teenagers find themselves homeless at any given time. Local experts say that this could be due to family issues, drug dependency, or a poor economy. The solution remains elusive.
Obviously, we have the homeless shelter that's just been built here in Waterville. Some of the stipulations that go with the shelter often is that you have to be 18 years or older. So that often impacts students who are under the age of 18. So there aren't a whole lot of options. The State Department has liaisons as well that help teens who are homeless. But those are all stopgap type of approaches. In terms of solutions and how do you stop this, I think the economy is going to be a large part of it. If the economy starts to turn around and there are employment opportunities, that would be a huge asset in this area.
Because the problem looks different, there's going to be different types of solutions. One of the things that is important is we want to create some continuity when someone is homeless. And so working in the schools, we want school to be something that can be consistent for them. It's a place for breakfast, it's a place for lunch. It's when I show up every day, I know how people are going to treat me. We also want to create some sense of the future, because if you're working on your education, it's a path to you being able to afford to live on your own or to be independent. So we want to make sure that we have that stability under students to begin with. The next part of the solution is helping people to communicate with what resources are out there, whether it's a Tony Veit who can help with housing, whether it's someone from the Department of Health and Human Services to determine whether they can have their own food stamps to solve any food issues. So I think, there's lots of parts to the solution, but the more that we understand the problems and the different looks that homelessness can have and that people need different solutions. And I guess the last thing is that it's not like one kid becomes homeless and forever homeless they shall be. It's that people move in and out of that. So we want to do what we can to get them back into a safe, secure, responsive home life.
I think the intervention needs to happen early in families. When it begins to fall apart between a youth and an adult, whether they're 5 or 12 or 15 or 17, we need to intervene quicker and affordably. So even if a family doesn't have health insurance, they should have access to good family counseling so that we can put the pieces back together.
What I look at a lot on a daily or working basis is what are the immediate needs and how are we going to address those. And does the youth either want to work with me or work with somebody to address those? So it's kind of get that a little bit of a buy-in from the youth to say, yes, that's something I need to, I want to take care of, or I'm willing to work with you to take care of.
Be educated about who homeless are. When I grew up, a homeless person in my mind was, maybe a veteran coming back from Vietnam sitting on the street with a can, begging, or maybe an older woman with a shopping cart dressed in 3 layers of clothing, muttering to herself. Today the homeless look just like you and I. We couldn't tell the difference on the street. Everybody in this economy, lots of people in this economy, are just 1 or 2 paychecks away from being in the shelter. I think that the solution comes when the community figures out how to work together to bring reasonable employment, to bring services to those that need a hand up, not a handout, and to find a way to work together. There's enough resources in each community to heal itself if we can make a way for them to work together.
There is some work that's being done around identifying a program, kind of like a foster care program, where we have several homes with caring adults who have been trained and vetted and are available to take teens when they need a place to go. The hard part is that a lot of teens, they don't want to be sort of labeled as being a person who's homeless or who needs help. They tend to couch surf, or they just tend to be under the radar about what their challenges are. So we are looking for the community to kind of help us figure out what's the best way to help, because it's very, very complex and there aren't as many resources in this area as we would like for there to be. So as much as we can create some awareness in the community about the issue in and of itself, I think that that will help. And I think that it's also part of our job to really support parents in the community so that they don't get to a point where they, for whatever reason, can't care for their kids. We need to support them too.
Call, be supportive to those people that are going through it, help them reach out and access resources in the community. You know, and then on top of that, there's lots of ways to fundraise and donate and those kinds of things. We are always looking for donations at the shelter. We have people that drop off extra vegetables out of their garden, or they drop off canned goods, or they help out with you know, some clothing, whatever, you know, whatever a youth might need. You know, what do typical kids who are going to school not experiencing this need? Those youth that are at the homeless shelter have those same needs, and there are no real good funding sources for it, so it's always good. We're always taking donations.
I think one of the biggest solutions is what you're doing right now, and that's trying to create a better awareness, better understanding of the problem.
I believe that one of the keys to ending homelessness for youth and children and families is what you're doing today, is to interview and educate the community so that they understand who homeless persons are. Homeless awareness is huge. And then to help people know that if they volunteer, if they can give donations to programs that are making a difference, that's more effective than giving to somebody that's on the street. Because we can help save the masses, one person at a time.